Welcome everybody, and how y'all doing out there? This is the side Jawn. We here with you this morning. We started off a little bit late, but you know what? Had a couple technical difficulties, but we are here each and every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. as we do. I am your host, Dennis Holmes. I'm here with my co-host, the Chocolate Girl.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Dennis. I feel like I haven't seen you in a week because guess what? I haven't. Since I didn't make the show Tuesday, but I'm back now on the podcast scene. How you been doing, man? We haven't had a chance to catch up. You've been doing all right?
Yeah, I've been doing really good.
Philadelphia treating you well? I see you got your
yes.
Sixers hat. Is that the Sixers hat? What you got on?
76ers.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah. You feeling them Sixers right about now?
No, we done lost too many games, but you know what? I think it's something that's needed because if we'd have went into the playoffs, start losing games, I'd have been pissed. So if you lose them now and you could correct them, you know, you got 2 weeks, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, man, it's a good time. I guess I'll keep my eye on your team since you know my team is just like whatever. I'm riding with the
y'all won
Heat.
last night though, didn't y'all?
No, we didn't win. I told you we were gonna lose.
Y'all lost to New Orleans last night?
Yes.
Your boy CJ McCollum came through and pissed you off again?
I didn't watch the game.
That's your boy.
I'm not looking at CJ McCollum. I just looked at the win or loss score, and we lost by 3 points. I told you we weren't gonna beat the Pelicans. They beat us last time we played them.
And you know what's crazy? We had Trisha Joy on the show Tuesday, and I told her that her boyfriend Jimmy Butler, and she was cracking up. You know what I mean? I said that her favorite boyfriend Jimmy Butler.
Oh Lord!
Asked her about Jimmy Butler.
Oh Lord!
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to start calling CJ McCollum your boyfriend. That's what I'm gonna start.
No. And I will ignore you when you say that. You know that. I can't stand him. He's doing down there with the Heat. That's a better fit for him, and that's good.
It is a better fit. He is enjoying himself. Hopefully, he can play like that next season. It might not just be a one season thing.
I know we're not going to dwell on sports today, but let me just say this about this whole CJ McCollum thing. He is proof of something that I have always said. You can take a player on one team being awful, put him on a different team with different players, and all of a sudden he's a superstar. It's the same player. But when he was playing awfully on this other team, you would say, he's just a role player. He's just an average player. Then people want to ride his, jock when he gets on a new team and he's outstanding. But y'all weren't saying that about CJ McCollum when he was in Portland. So I've always said the team you play with does affect you, but it's the player itself. The player is who you need to be watching. So is he really a better player than he was when he was on Portland? No, he's the same player. Different role, different things are needed on that team. So he affects the winning more. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a perfect example of team makeup, matchups, everything matters, especially in the NBA. Nothing is absolute. That's all. I'm off my soapbox now, so go right ahead.
All right. Well, let's start the show. Let's start talking about exactly, because today's show we named Marvin, Martin, and Maya. And a lot of people probably don't put none of this together, but Marvin Gaye passed away April 1st, 1984. And Martin Luther King died April 4th, 1968. And Maya Angelou birthday is April 4th, I think is 1948.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's her birthday.
That's correct, 1948.
1940, okay. Look at that. Look at me. Ha.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah. you know, we definitely wanted to talk about those three people and introduce them to the show today. You know, Marvin Gaye passed away. Well, we'll get into that a little later. One thing I wanted to introduce that's going to be a new segment that we're going to start talking about is our wellness segment. We're calling it More Bounce. That's what we're calling it. More bounce to the ounce. That's what we call it. More bounce.
I was gonna have my sounder ready, but I don't have my sounder ready. It's gonna be dope. I'm gonna have a sounder. But go ahead.
DJ Chocolate.
DJ Chocolate.
DJ Chocolate. Yeah, it's gonna be about more ways that we can put bounce in our lives. Feel better, think better, show up better. We can walk with way more swag and show up like a boss. There's good stuff coming.
I'm excited.
More bounce to the ounce. Yeah.
I can't wait.
We also have a 1-year anniversary coming up.
Yeah.
And our 1-year anniversary is on Juneteenth. For those that don't know what day Juneteenth is, it's June 19th.
This is imaginary confetti. This is confetti. So when I do this is confetti. Juneteenth.
Yeah, we definitely gonna have something special to celebrate for Juneteenth. Yeah.
All right. It's going to be a year, Dennis. 1 year.
1 year.
We've been on the side, Joan, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. or sometimes 10:15 or 10:30, but it doesn't matter.
we still be here in the morning. Let's just get out of the way.
Every Saturday morning for a year, June 19th. Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. It's going to be something great to celebrate. We definitely gonna work it out and do something different for our celebration. It should be by next Saturday. You should have your gift. I'm gonna say that. So next Saturday,
hey?
Yes, you. I ain't nobody else here but me and you.
Okay. All righty. My gift. Okay. I like gifts. I am a woman. I am a lady. And we love gifts.
And yeah, like you said, April starts an interesting month. You know, yesterday, Marvin Gable passed away. April 1st, 1984, was shot and killed by his father, Marvin Gaye Sr., in his home after an argument. Now, I thought the argument was more that his dad was scared because, you know, Marvin, how I heard about Marvin Gaye was more so his more political songs. And then one of the most famous songs he ever had was Got to Give It Up. It was one of the most famous songs in my neighborhood because of my next door neighbor was a big Marvin Gaye fan. And she'll have her parties and she played that Got to Give It Up and she get her dance on out there. I used to go out and party and stand around, but I was too nervous to really get down. Yeah, that's how I learned about Marvin Gaye. Now, how did you hear about Marvin Gaye?
Well, I go way back with Marvin Gaye. Hearing him and Tammy Terrell sing their duets. You know, my family was a very musical family. So we had music playing all the time. Remember I told you about the intercom system in our house. We had an intercom system. So mom and dad had music playing throughout the house all day, every day. So my sister and I grew up on music. Music was like it literally was a soundtrack to our life. All kinds of music, all kinds, because she would have it on the pop station. And they played all kinds of music. Doesn't matter what kind. Even got a little bit of country in there sometime. So I learned about Marvin Gaye from watching shows like the Lawrence Welk Show, Soul Train, American Bandstand, what is it? Sonny and Cher. They had variety shows on television. And we would watch those shows and watch artists perform and also listen to the radio. So we got it both on radio and TV. And then we had music at home. Back then it was 8-tracks. My father and mother had all kinds of 8-tracks. We had like a whole shelf full of 8-tracks. And my father had a best friend, shout out to Jack Moore, Gerald Jack Moore, who used to record and create 8-tracks for my father with like mixes on it. So we had music playing all the time, and Marvin Gaye was always featured. Not only Got to Give It Up, but What's Going On was another one of the songs. What's Going On? That was like my favorite Marvin Gaye song until 1983 or 4-ish, when Sexual Healing came out. And see what people, just to give a little bit of backstory about Marvin Gaye at this time, he had gotten a Grammy for that. He was on top of the world, but all of a sudden he just disappeared off the scene for a little while. And come to find out, he was struggling. He was struggling with addiction. He was struggling with money issues. He was just struggling with depression. And so he ended up moving back in with his parents. He moved back in the house with them. Now his father, take this, Dennis. His father was a Pentecostal, like a Pentecostal preacher, right? Mm-hmm. So like most stereotypical Pentecostal preachers, you have a very high moral standard and you strict with your kids, and you have 4 kids in the house and in the family. And he was real strict. Yet this dude was an alcoholic and was known to cross-dress. But he was a preacher at the same time. So this is the type of household he was in. Even though he was grown and old, he had a problem, so he had to move back home. You know, as mamas, we always say, you can always come home, baby. Right. You know, if something's going on and it's that bad, come on home. Now, you can't live off of it. You got to contribute, but you can come home. I'll always have a home for you. So he went back home, and if my memory serves me correctly, his father always resented his success, right? His father, whose name was Marvin Gaye Sr., but it was G-A-Y. When Marvin Gaye became an artist, he added the E on the end of the Y to differentiate himself from his father. A lot of people don't know that part. Then too, he was so strict on them. And so when he comes home, he's 40 years old or whatever, 40 something. He goes home. And of course, they still have rules that his father expected him to follow. But he just got Grammy for Sexual Healing. So his dad had a problem with the nature of the song and his womanizing, his drugging, you know, everything was just horrible. So they ended up getting into it. And his hothead daddy went and got a gun and shot him 3 times in the chest and killed him. But what's so sad about that story is that Marvin's brother was holding Marvin when he died. And he said the last thing Marvin said to him is, I got what I wanted. I couldn't do it myself, so I let him do it. I made him do it. That's what he said. So in other words, he was in so much pain, he wanted to die. But he couldn't kill himself, so he made his father kill him. That broke my heart when I read that. It just tore me up. I love some Marvin Gaye. It's one of the smoothest voices ever. One of. Next to Nat King Cole and Sam Cooke, his voice is the smoothest male voice I've ever heard. Like butter on hot glass. It was just that smooth. So rest in peace, Marvin Gaye.
Okay. Happy birthday, Sister Sheila. Let me get that.
Yes, that's my sister. Her birthday is on the 6th. So we celebrate the whole month of April.
Yes. Happy birthday, Sister Sheila. Let's get
Happy birthday, Sheila. Yeah. Love you, girl. Shout out to everybody in the comments. Good morning, Tavai. Good morning, James Alexander, Jonathan Benton II, BJ Samuels. Good morning to y'all. Welcome to the show. Thank you, Jade Alinsky. Thanks for riding with us every Saturday. It's good to see y'all.
Yes, definitely good to see y'all. I definitely was a fan of Martin. I think my favorite Marvin Gaye song is "Come Get to This." It's a quick one too, like 2 minutes long. Yeah,
it's a really short song.
Yeah, get right to the point.
Do this. He was brilliant. He was just great. Good morning, Carlson Tyner.
It was a good bop song. That's what it was. It was a good bop song.
Good bop song.
Yeah.
Last just long enough. But I think got to give it up. I think what's going on, got to give it up. Those are probably my favorites. Probably what's going on. Yeah, what's going on.
That's one of those revolutionary songs right there.
Yeah. Sexual Healing is a fun song. That's my favorite song to do at karaoke of his is Sexual Healing. I always sing that song. I love it.
Carlson said Marvin Gaye was introduced to me for the first time when my dad threatened to do me like his dad did him.
And you know, as parents, we really think of creative ways of driving home a message. Don't mess with us. Don't we? Don't we, Dennis?
Number one line after that was I brought you in this world, I can take you out.
I take you out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. Good morning, Arnett Keys. Thank you.
Man, Mr. Pebbles in the building. What's going on, Mr. Pebbles? That's that one on Marvin Gaye. Gotta love Marvin. Yeah, but this Monday was the day that Martin Luther King was assassinated. April 4th, 1968. He was shot down by, I forgot the guy's name. I know his name was Earl something. Is it James Earl Ray?
Yeah.
James Earl Ray, yeah. Shot him down in Memphis, Tennessee at 6:05 p.m. on a Thursday. Martin Luther King was shot dead while standing on a balcony on the second floor room of the Lorraine Hotel in Memphis, Tennessee. One day after giving what Sharon believed was the greatest speech of all time, when he spoke striking Memphis sanitation workers. What did Martin Luther King mean to you?
Well, I'm going to try to get through this without some tears falling, but Martin Luther King meant a whole lot to me. I was not quite 2 years old when he was killed, but I don't remember a time in my life not knowing who Martin Luther King is from birth, just from, of course, when I was a year and a half old, I don't remember him actually getting shot like real time, but I remember during my earliest memories of my life, I always felt I knew who Martin Luther King Jr. is. And no, we did not have the proverbial picture of MLK on the wall in our house. We did not. But we had records. And see, my parents not only had records for music, but they had informational type records as well. And I remember an album we had that had some Martin Luther King Jr. speeches on it. Sheila, put that in the comments if you remember that album, because I remember that album and I remember pulling it out and hearing the I Have a Dream speech and some of his others. But the speech that always was my favorite was his final speech, I've Been to the Mountaintop. I cannot listen to that speech and not cry. I can't, which is why I'm not quoting what he said right now. I'm just trying to keep it together, or I'll be a basket case on the show. But that is my favorite. Everyone wants to quote, I have a dream, and one day, young boys and black boys, black girls, and brothers, hold hand and join hands and sing whatever. And the free at last, God. That's everybody's favorite quotes, but mine is not that. It's I've been to the mountaintop and I've looked over. And when he ends and he says, I've seen the glory of the covenant of the Lord, and he walks away. If you see video footage of him giving that speech, it's almost like he knew this was the last speech he was ever going to give. It was something about his facial expressions and his body language and even the intonation of his voice during that speech. People around him, afterwards said they felt something, but they couldn't quite put their finger on what it was until after he was killed. And they have said, I think he knew. But he faced it like a soldier and drum major that he was. He faced it, didn't shy away from it, and he was killed. So what he means and represents to me is a voice of an entire nation of people. It's just a voice. It's a voice of unity. It's a voice of love and a voice of strength. And it's for all people. It's not just for Black people. The one thing that Martin Luther King wants everyone to know is that when you give rights to marginalized people, whatever that group is, it equates to rights for everyone. Everyone. So this is not just for, I'm fighting for Black people because I want Black people to be treated better at the expense of white people. That's not what he was saying. But if you give us as Black people the same rights and privileges and thoughts and policies as anyone else, everybody wins. Everybody, including white people. They win. And it just doesn't, I just don't understand why you wouldn't want to win as a culture. I would want my culture to win. And if helping y'all will help me win, I want to do it. It's just no brainer to me. It's like as a leader, if you're leading a team and the worse you treat your team, the worse they perform, what are you going to do? You're going to treat them better if you want to win.
Exactly.
Just a no-brainer to me. That's just common sense. And so to me, he represents love, common sense, tenacity, like I said, determination for all people. And that's why everyone should celebrate his legacy. And I'm not talking about the infidelity or how he spoke badly to somebody one time or whatever. Yeah, he did say that, Arnett. I may not get there with you, but we will get to the problem. I'm telling you, listen to that entire speech, y'all. That is my favorite. His letter from the Birmingham jail. Amazing. And as a writer myself, the way he writes is just phenomenal to me. So I not only look at the heart of the man, I look at his skills as an orator and as a writer, and I just feel like he was brilliant. So I celebrate his birth. I agonize over his death, but I commemorate it because even though they silenced his voice, his physical voice, his presence and voice will live on forever in his speeches and his words and his accomplishments. So we should never forget Martin Luther King Jr. Never.
I agree with all that. I definitely agree with all that. One of the things about me with Martin Luther King, that, how you always hear the story, people always say, oh, you shouldn't mix religion with politics and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, one of the things I always said was, look, Martin Luther King mixed religion with politics, and, he was trying to send a message. And I would say his message got through. It wasn't fully successful, but it got through, and it got some whispering ears, and people were talking about it, still talking about it to this day. So that's why I didn't understand why people say you shouldn't do it, because it actually can be successful and can work out. And there was another time I was thinking about Martin Luther King, because I think it was 2015, might have been 2016. Don't quote me on the year, but the Pope came to Philadelphia. And
Which
he
Pope
shut.
was it? No, I'm just kidding.
He shut. I think it's the new Pope. It's the new Pope.
Is it the current one? Okay.
Yeah, he shut the city down. I'm gonna say he shut the city down. He even shut down half of some of Jersey. That they had the Pope, and they didn't want nobody to know where the Pope was at. They kept giving false assumptions that the Pope was here and Pope was there. It was really crazy. But like I said, the Pope came to Philadelphia, and people waited all day for him to come out at about 8, 9 o'clock and give his 1-hour speech. Rode through the crowd, kissed babies. He kissed the girl baby. The girl fainted. Now he got the baby in his hand, trying to get back to the girl when she wake up. It was just crazy. And I was sitting there, I was thinking, I was like, man, if Martin Luther King was alive today, would he get treated like this?
Good question.
That's what I was thinking in my head. I was like, do we have anybody that we know would get treated like this?
Did you want me to answer?
You can answer.
Okay. First, shout out to Sheila Mullen for the 200 stars sent. Thank you so much, Sheila, for the stars.
Thank you for the stars.
I believe we haven't had anyone like that for a few decades. We have not. Until Barack Obama. But the difference is we, as a nation of people, are divided on Barack Obama to the point that I'm not sure it would be quite that much of a big deal if he shows up to someplace. We wouldn't get the numbers, is what I'm saying. Now, we would get a group of people. There'd be people there, because every time I look at video footage of him arriving someplace, there are people like that, like what you described, crying, just want to touch him, falling out. There's somebody like if I were to see Barack Obama right now, I would probably start crying immediately. And I don't know if I could actually speak to him. It would be difficult. But I love Barack Obama. I'm not like one of my good friends who can't stand Barack Obama, who says he didn't do anything for us and he didn't do that. And he,
I'm so tired of hearing that.
Who focuses on what he didn't get done without looking at what he did do, and also what he wasn't allowed to do because we didn't put the right people in Congress for him to do those things. They don't want to look at that. They just want to look at, he didn't have anything that has the word black in it get through. And that's all they're hanging their hat on. That's fine. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. But for me, he's the guy right now. He is still the guy for me, as far as a leader in our community. A lot of people don't want to say that. Jesse is ill. I love Reverend Al Sharpton. A lot of people don't like Reverend Al. You can talk about him and go all the way back to Tawana Brawley if you want. Yes, I know about Tawana Brawley, y'all. See, y'all don't understand. I read. You know what I'm saying? I read books and literature and real things. I don't look at sound bites on YouTube and these obscure websites that have no credibility like a lot of people do to get their information. No, I lived it because I'm old and I read. So I know all about what Al Sharpton did with Tawana Brawley. He served his put his proverbial time for what his mistakes in that case. He has since made amends and has become a prominent leader in the civil rights and social justice movement. And you can say he's an opportunist that hangs on and tries to do all this for a photo op if you want to. I know when he shows up, stuff gets done. When Jesse Jackson showed up, stuff got done. Y'all can say what you want to say. I know what I've witnessed. So for me, they're getting so old now. Who's the 40-year-old that we're looking to? Who's the 30-year-old? Ask yourselves, how old was Martin Luther King Jr. when he was assassinated? Ask yourself, I bet y'all don't know. Where are the leaders of our community? The same community you keep saying you want to see represented on television, always hollering about black TV shows. But I don't see y'all hollering about blacks in Congress. And having black people on TV is not going to help you send your children to college. You see what I'm saying? I'm just like, you got to get your priorities straight. I'm preaching. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be preaching. I know that's not what you asked me, but I'm tying this all together to say, I don't think there's anybody that can walk up in Philly and shut the whole city down more than, let's say, an athlete or some TV star or something that's not going to do anything for the future of the black people in this country, in our circumstance. I don't know of anyone right now. And I think that Barack Obama is probably the closest to it. What's your thoughts on that? On what I said?
I would think, I personally think it got to be a group of them.
But it's not one person like it is the Pope.
No,
like the Pope is him. Because nobody's trying to kiss the ring and follow his handlers. They want the Pope. They want to touch his garment. They want to kiss his hand and kiss that ring. They want to.
Yeah, thank you, Josh Bailey, for the stars. But yeah, I think it's got to be like a group of people. It got to be, they're going to have some entertainers with them. Barack is going to have to be there. Al Sharpton. Yeah, it's going to have to be. It's going to have to be. They're going to have to call this. They're going to have to be with the NCAA, NAACP. I'm sorry, not NCAA, NAACP movement, and it's going to have to be a group of them that come out and speak and and I still don't think they're going to get the love the Pope did.
I don't think so either.
Because even not to bring sports into it, even after we won the Super Bowl, Super Bowl was great, but we didn't do what the Pope did at the Super Bowl parade. I meant the Pope, like I said, he shut the city down.
Right.
It was crazy. But yeah, you're right. It ain't no one person. We
No.
should have it like that, but there is no one person.
It's not. I mean, it's not even three people. I mean, it used to be. You had Medgar Evers, you had Malcolm X, you had MLK, and you had I'm forgetting the fourth person. It's another person. I'm missing somebody. But anyway, you had them. Then you had Andrew Young. Then you had Harry Belafonte. People followed them. They're all old now, dying, some of them dead already. Who's going to carry the baton? I've been wondering this for almost 10, 15 years. I've talked actively about this with my sister before.
Yeah. Jonathan just said that. He said, Sharon, this is the very same thing I've been saying. We have no one who's willing to step up to the plate and be a leader or that we identify as a leader other than rappers, athletes, entertainers. It's truly sad.
Yes, Jonathan. And there's a reason for that. Number one is because we are such a media-driven society now, more so than we were. I'm not saying that it's right. I think it's awful. We believe more in media than we do books. That's the first problem. The second one is we're not unified. There's too many factions. Y'all need to look up the word factions and what it says about factions, even in the Bible. But there's too many factions in our community. There've always been factions. You remember the faction of people who did not like Martin Luther King, but they loved Malcolm X because they said Martin Luther King was too passive.
Soft.
Right. And then they said that Malcolm was too militant and too violent. So, yeah, we've always had factions, but the factions were not the overriding influence in the community. Now it is. It's the progressives against the rest of us. I'm not progressive enough because I believe in locking up criminals. I don't care what the race is. Lock their ass up. But the lockup system, Sharon, is racist. I know that. But that don't mean don't put them in there. I'm sorry. Because if we don't put them in there, guess who they're going to come get? You and me.
You do the crime, you do the time.
This is where I'm at.
They got Bill Cosby.
The answer is changing the system, not to not use the system. The answer is changing that. Educate ourselves, send more of our children to college to be attorneys so they can be civil rights attorneys. I'm telling you, that's my dream. I didn't, it took me this long, almost 55 years almost, to realize the type of attorney that I really am called to be is a civil rights attorney. Because that's what we need. People who understand the law and who can speak up for it, like them or not. That's the reason why you always see, what's that attorney you always see show up at these cases that are high profile now? He's a Johnny Cochran of our age. What is his name?
I forgot his name.
Well, him, that guy. When he shows up, people roll their eyes. Oh, here he comes. He just out to get money. What they don't understand is he has thousands of clients, or I wouldn't say thousands, I'll say hundreds, that he's represented for free. And when they got settlement money, that he did not take the money. That's what they don't know. So his paid clients, he charges those that can afford to pay him so that he can do the pro bono work that he does do. They don't understand how that works, though. Nobody wants to talk about
Benjamin Crump.
That's it. Crump. It's Crump. C-R-U-M-P. Yeah, Benjamin Crump. Yeah, but every time he come running, people in our community blast him. I would never get that country Bama talking. You should hear we talk about the man.
Oh, I hear.
But I tell you what, let something happen to my family that ain't right. Guess who I'm calling?
Benjamin Crump.
You darn right. You darn Skippy, I'm calling. Because stuff is not right. And unless all eyes are put on it, it's not changed. It's not. So anyway, it's too many factions like that just in our community. We can't even support a brother who's out here showing up, fighting for social justice for people. No, we want to tear a brother down because he's a limousine.
Hey, could you imagine if Martin Luther King was around this time? If he started around this time with all the social media, you know how many people would be against him?
Yes, it would be awful.
Awful.
Somewhere he's looking at us like, this is what I sacrificed for this?
Right.
Look at how y'all doing. Did y'all forget who you are? I often think about my parents when we were little. There's a song called Downtown. Sheila, put in the comments, who sung Downtown. I forgot the name of the lady. But there was a song called Downtown that talks about going downtown to do shopping and stuff. And people would go downtown. Everything's great downtown. If you want to have a good day, you go downtown. Back in the day. It's an old song. And I remember when we were kids, usually on a Saturday, we would get up, do our chores, shower, get dressed up to go downtown shopping with mom. Dressed up. We didn't wear our school clothes downtown. We didn't wear sweats and flip-flops and t-shirts and hair all over our heads with house slippers on, going downtown. No, we dressed up to go downtown. There was a difference in how we carried ourselves as people back then. It made a difference. And they've done experiments with children. Children who are made to wear uniforms or dress up behave differently in school. And no, these people now, they don't want to admit that. They want to say, I'm full of crap. It ain't true. That's just what you say. You old. That's what you say. Get off your lawn. No, it is a fact. You sit up a little straighter. You walk a little better when you're dressed up versus when you're not. And you're real, just sweats in a t-shirt, sweats with holes in it and flip-flops on. Nothing wrong with flip-flops. I own a couple of pair. I wear them. But we used to get dressed up to go downtown. We used to get dressed up when we took a flight somewhere. When you fly, when you travel on a bus, train, any public, you dressed up. You wore school clothes for a reason. There were school clothes. You dressed up to go to school. You didn't wear them clothes. And you had to take them clothes off before you went outside and play. You ain't got to do that now. You can keep the same clothes on. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying it was a different time. And now people, we are just, as a community, our community is just, it's different.
Well,
I'm choosing my words carefully because I don't want people to think that I'm looking down on my own people. But I have to call it as I see it and say what I see. My grandmother would get up out her grave right now and snatch me up if I take my ass out my house with some house slippers and pajama pants on right now. And she had one leg. And she would jump up out that grave and drag my ass back home. But these people now, they're like, you should be able to wear what you want. That's their whole thing. You should be able to do, say, look, appear, do whatever you want. Okay. And that's why we're here where we're at. Go ahead.
Let me just say this. I know I didn't get dressed up to go downtown. When I was younger, I did. But as I got older, I didn't. Because I kept hearing about everybody getting robbed.
Right. Yeah. Different circumstance. We wasn't getting robbed going downtown.
No. But they
you know why? You know why? The robbers didn't come downtown. It wasn't a place for the robbers because the robbers would stand out. See what I'm saying? The robbers would stand out. They didn't come downtown because everybody downtown looked like us. We were dressed.
Oh, but the robbers, they
didn't come downtown.
They started getting clever. They started to get dressed. As a matter of fact, there was robbers out there that looked better than you. But they knew how to box you, scope you, and then pull you to the side and rob you and take your money. Because, back then it was all cash. Now everything digital, so they ain't taking no money now. So yeah, this is why I said it's a different era now. But
yeah, it's a different era.
Yeah, but I do agree with you that you don't need to be in Walmart with pajama pants on and a hoodie and some flip flops during the day. You know what I mean? You could have put some regular clothes on.
Oh no, somebody would tell you, what difference does it make? As long as their money spent, that's what they say.
Yeah. and that's why you.
That's why I say that's why we are where we are right now.
Yeah,
that's why we are where we are.
And the crazy thing is, there's a lot of women I see like that. The fellas, on the other hand, these guys actually get dressed up to go to, well, that's because they trying to chase women. Never mind. Nah, I forgot.
I see a lot of bummy looking men out here. I still see asses out with underwear. I still see that. Not as much as we were seeing it, but I still see it. Or I see these dudes out here with these super skin tight pants on.
Yeah,
looking more feminine than me. I can't take it. I can't take it.
I don't know how they doing it. They got one testicle on one side, one on the other.
I don't know what they're doing.
Testicles ain't meant to be split apart, sir. They're not meant to be split apart.
How you spell let me see testicle. Let me see TESTACLES. Testicles. Right. Not meant to be split apart. Right. Yo, June. What's up, June? Welcome to the side, Jawn, y'all. We're here each and every Saturday morning, 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. Facebook Live. We get posted.
This is what we do, man. Thanks, June, man. I'm glad you tune in each and every Saturday morning, man. Gotta love it. Definitely gotta love it. First thing I want to say is one of the people who started getting involved as an activist in the civil rights movement was Maya Angelou. She's a poet, an actress, a singer, a writer, a producer, a teacher, a musician, and an activist. She was also a friend of Martin Luther King Jr. When he was assassinated, Maya Angelou was celebrating her 40th birthday. So I was wrong. She was born 1928. I said that wrong. I said 48, 1928. She was celebrating her 40th birthday.
Yeah.
After he was killed, she went on to write I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, one of her most famous works. Yeah, her famous poem and her favorite still was Still I Rise, which speaks to the spirit of Black people in triumph over racism and adversity. Shan, how do you feel about Maya Angelou? What does she mean to you?
Okay, so again, I'm gonna try to keep it together because Maya was like mama. She was like one of those famous mamas to me. I always wanted to hear from her thoughts and her lessons and what she had to say about anything. She was the first person on my list of people that I always wanted to interview as a writer. Would love to have interviewed her and do a story on her. She was one of the most interesting people I ever learned about. She was a phenomenal poet and writer. She was so transparent. She would talk about her mother's and her grandmother's failings as mothers, and then she talked about her own. And she was very vulnerable about it. And I loved that, the way that she did that. Maya meant pride as a Black woman. She stood for that to me. And Still I Rise is great, but when she wrote Phenomenal Woman, it just changed my life. That poem is like extremely personal and extremely important to me. My mom always raised us daughters to be proud of who we are. My mom and my dad. And then their parents did too. So it's like we come from a line of people who were proud of who we are. And Maya she represented that for me. It was difficult when she passed away. I cried for days. I mean, literally days. And I still miss her because I still want to hear new things from her. So that's what she meant to me. She just represented pride in myself as a Black woman, as a learned person, as a person of intelligence and stature and grace and kindness. She always spoke about being kind and loving to people. And that's how I like to show up in the world, as a person who is loving and caring. One story I knew about her is that she didn't allow people to come into her home and bring negative energy into her home. And there's a story that's been told by her and others of how she was having a gathering at her house and somebody made a joke that was very crass about something or somebody or something. And she stopped them and told them that they had to leave her house. She was very serious about the aura, energy, and the sense of spirit that's in her presence. And I'm like that as well. Yeah. So the day Martin Luther King was assassinated was her 40th birthday. And Martin Luther King, for her, was a person who started her working in the civil rights movement. She started because of him. She heard him in a speech and she got involved. And so it's funny how those two are kind of connected.
Okay. All right. My introduction to Maya Angelou, first, somebody told me as I was watching Poetic Justice that was Maya Angelou. That was the first one. And then I think one of her speeches came on TV. One of her poems came on TV, and then you started to see how more and more times she was coming along, and I was like, oh yeah, that's Maya Angelou, this a phenomenal woman speech. I remember that. And then that's how I got to know exactly who she was. Then I think I wrote a piece on her in school, and that was how I got to know more about Maya Angelou. But like I said, it all started from Poetic Justice. That's when I first seen it.
Yeah, I read I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings. I believe I was in college. I didn't read it in high school. I read it when I was in college the first time. And that's when I fell in love with Maya Angelou. And from there, I was just in love with her. It's like she was one of my aunties.
Right. Mm-hmm. She was family. She definitely was family.
Yeah. And you always wanted to hear what she said. I can't wait to hear what Maya Angelou has to say about that. I would hear myself thinking this in my head about stuff that would come up. What is she saying about it? So when she did she was the first Black woman, I think the first Black woman to deliver the official poem for the presidential inauguration. Mm. And it was awesome. I felt seen that day.
Sister Sheila said, there's a time and place for everything. That includes attire. They call it underclothes because they're supposed to be under your clothes and not seen. The same with night clothes. They're supposed to be worn at home, not in public. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Now, all right. I'm a victim of some of this. So let me just say this. It used to be those times before COVID where it's like 2, 3 in the morning, it's the perfect time to go to Walmart because ain't that many people there. So, me and my girl at the time, like, babe, come on, let's go to Walmart. Perfect time to go do a nighttime shop, get what you need because they putting all the perfect stuff on the shelf. So you ain't got to walk around looking. You just ask somebody, they're going to put in your basket. Oh, that was perfect for me. And I might have had on some night attire. I might have been in there with some basketball shorts on and some flip-flops. Depends on how I felt. But I washed up first. Let me get that out of the way. Washed up first.
Yeah. Yeah, but even for me, I'm one of those people who would go to Walmart, the 24-hour Walmart at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning or something. The same thing. I would do that. But I'm sorry, I didn't wear my night clothes. I'll put some sweats on. Nothing wrong with sweats. Put some sweats. They're just as comfortable as your pajama pants. They're just as comfortable. So I would put my sweats on and flip-flops, t-shirt. I may or may not have my hair done. I might have my hair wrapped up. But I'm not going to have pajamas on. I'm sorry. They're supposed to be worn at home. Sheila's right. My sister's right about that, I feel.
Yeah. Carlson also said it's crazy how a lot of stuff back then was connected. I was introduced to Maya Angelou as a kid because I always was into poetry, and I ended up reading everything I could get my hands on. Mm-hmm. I always loved the way she spoke, her tone, her dialect, and her language choice.
Yep. Me too. He said that Maya Angelou is his all-time favorite woman.
Yeah. And Elise said that's never okay to walk out in PJs. Well, my basketball shorts at the time was considered PJs.
No, I wouldn't say that. If you sleep in them, if you happen to sleep in them, fine. But wearing basketball shorts, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have any issue with that. If you just happen to sleep in them, that's something else. But they're not made for sleeping. They're not pajama shorts. That'd be like me wearing some boy shorts that are a part of a pajama set, and I decide to wear them out. No.
You can't do that. They got your whole ass up.
I'd be cute though.
Oh Lord.
But no.
Also April begins tornado season. Let me get into that. And you have a personal
don't be doing that.
You have a personal connection to this time of year. Can you tell the people about your personal connection with the tornado?
Oh, tornado season. Okay. All right, y'all. So it's April. April starts the official tornado season, y'all. Hurricane season doesn't start until June, but tornado season starts in April. Why is that important? Y'all have got to pay attention to the weather, and you need to respect the weather, y'all. I'm just telling you, because if you've never been in a tornado, never seen a tornado, been in a tornado, been around or seen the aftermath of a tornado live, you do not understand how devastating those things are. They are extremely powerful. They take less time than a hurricane, and you get much less notice. You can literally be sitting in a place, and 3 minutes later, a tornado can be actually on top of you, and you don't even know it until it's hitting. So when the weatherman says it's a tornado watch, you need to start preparing to take shelter. By preparing, if you don't have a basement, you should already know where in your house you need to be in case of a tornado. That's a place that does not have any windows. It needs to be an interior part of your house. Why? I don't know if you've seen it, but you may have seen footage after tornadoes where whole houses are like just sticks and stones or whatever. And then you might see one little piece of a room sticking up. It's always in the interior part of the house. It's not the outside. So you need to get somewhere, and you need to put something over you, because stuff is going to fall on you. Like if you live in an apartment building and you're on the second floor, or you're on the first floor, second floor, stuff's going to fall on you. If you're on the third floor, you're going to fall down. You need to have yourself wrapped up in something heavy, like a mattress, something heavy over you to protect you from the flying debris that's going 300 miles an hour. Ooh. That could literally kill you. People getting struck by debris kills them in these tornadoes a lot. It's not always about the tornado lifting them up like Dorothy somewhere. No, this ain't Wizard of Oz. And it's real. How real is it? When we were kids, on April 3rd, 1974, I'm being vulnerable. I don't care if y'all know how old I really am. April 3rd, 1974, you can look up the tornado outbreak that happened in the Midwest. It was one of the worst on record. But the tornado I'm going to talk about happened in Xenia, Ohio. It was the most devastating thing in my childhood because after the tornado, the next day, my parents and my sister and I rode to Xenia to check on our friends. And it literally looked like a war zone, like a bomb had been dropped. And things were like toothpicks. It's 2022. There are still parts of Xenia that was never rebuilt after the tornado. That's how bad it was. And it left such an impression on me because in 1972, I was only 6 years old. 5 going on 6 at this time. And it scared me to death to the point where I am deathly afraid of bad weather now. I'm always on the weather. And when I hear severe thunderstorm watch, I'm on high alert. Anywhere that I live, I formulate my tornado plan as soon as while I'm looking at the place. So even before I move in, I already know in case of tornado, this is a perfect place right here. When I'm looking at homes now, that's what I look at. Because a lot of these houses here in North Carolina don't come with basements. And see, in the Midwest, most of them come with basements. So you always know to go to the basement. But even when you go to the basement, you need to be strategic about which room you wait in the basement because of the way houses fall. You got to think about these things, people. It's too late when it's happening because guess what? You get little to no warning. They have actually gotten so much better with the warning system because of this outbreak of tornadoes that I'm talking to y'all about this morning. And I know y'all didn't tune into the sound to talk about weather. I know this, y'all. I know. But we weren't doing this show last April. So I didn't get to come to y'all to share with y'all and ring the alarm to say, listen to the weather and respect the weather, y'all. By the time they tell you tornado warning, the tornado is probably already on the ground coming your way. So that's why you need to listen when they say tornado watch and get your stuff together. You might want to go to Walmart, Target, and get you one of those weather radios. Have you heard of those, Dennis? And it's a radio that will work on battery. Because remember, the power gets taken out in these tornadoes because they're bringing down power lines. But you want to have this radio so you can hear the alarms that are being sounded. If you hear sirens, you need to take cover, y'all. I'm just telling you. Tornadoes are powerful and they cause destruction and death. So I just want to give y'all a heads up. Every April 3rd, I posted on my Facebook page, remember the Xenia tornado. I do. I wrote a story about it on Emergency Online. If you Google it, Sharon Mullen tornado, Xenia tornado, you'll find an article. Tell you all about it.
All right.
So be safe, Dennis. Be safe up there in Philly.
We don't have too many tornadoes here in Philadelphia. So.
No, you don't. But remember last year, y'all had tornadoes up there? Those people are still suffering.
Yeah. Elise said they on Amazon, not expensive at all, very handy, and it's a flashlight, radio, etc.
Yeah, it's got a flashlight on it. It has a flashlight on it, and it's a radio, and you can listen to what's going on because most of the times when you have a tornado, the wind that comes right before it tears down power lines. And so your power's out and you can't watch TV.
Tell me what's going on. What's going on?
Just letting y'all know it's that time of year, springtime. Brings tornadoes. Be careful, y'all. Oh my gosh. This is not karaoke day. This is beside y'all.
What's going on? Wow. The House has voted to federally decriminalize marijuana, but is not expected to clear the 60-vote threshold for passage in the Senate. So it may die. That's terrible. I do care about this because I really don't think nobody should be going to jail for no reefer. Let me get that out the way. Let's leave the reefer alone. Because I dip and dab in my little reefer. A little reefer, I ain't no addict. I just need a little reefer. Sometimes you need a little reefer. A little reefer get you through the way. That's all. And then there's other people out there. They gotta have reefer. They wake up, gotta have reefer. If there's no reefer around, they ain't gonna function. So I ain't one of them people. But just a little reefer. That's all.
I'm just laughing at calling it reefer. That's all I'm laughing at.
Because I work with the kids and they don't know what reefer is. They have no idea. You can walk around. I just need a little reefer. But if I say, "Oh yeah, I need some of that loud," they know. Oh, you about to get some of that loud. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, the kids nowadays they mix words up and do things so crazy. Like, don't eat no hot dog around them kids. Then immediately gonna say, "Oh, he eating a glizzy." I'm like,
a glizzy?
A glizzy? Because back in the day, glizzy meant a Glock. Like a gun. But now, right. glizzy means your private part.
Oh, are you serious?
Right. So one of the teachers had 2 hot dogs. He said, "Oh, Mr. Rod took 2 glizzies to the face." I was cracking.
Oh no.
I was cracking up.
No, that's nasty. Ew. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, they call it glizzies. So when they come through we had hot dog day. I want to say it was like last week or something. And they kept asking. They said, "Yo, what we eating today?" I was like, "Glizzies." They was like, "Oh." No. I was like, y'all better hope we don't have glizzies and meatballs. It's gonna be a long day for y'all. Just let y'all know that.
Serious?
Yeah, I mess with them. You gotta
saying that to them kids?
Sharon, you know my motto. FTK. All right. You know my motto. I love
that's you and BJ. Shout out to BJ Samuel.
I love the FTK. Kids, but FTK. All right. Y'all don't know what FTK is? Fuck them kids. All right?
Stop. No.
I love them. But y'all know like I know. There's some kids out there you want to kick down some stairs.
No, you be thinking about my little grandbaby, my little Nova.
It's gonna be a day that's gonna come by. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna say, "You know what? Nova, your parents need to come get you. They need to come get you right now." I'm telling you, it's gonna be a day that's gonna come. They need to come get you.
Not if I have anything to do with it. I'm gonna make sure I live wherever they live, so that boy can come over here and spend time with his grandma often. Have to have my influence in there, my influence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Got to keep them right, like Medea. Got to keep them right. Maybe that's what I have him call me, Medea.
Medea. Okay.
I'm gonna have him call me grandma. That's okay. But anyway,
I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with being called grandma.
So
grandma.
Ain't nothing wrong with grandma to me. I'm fine with it. But I want to get back to this reefer, as you say. Why is it that you care about it being decriminalized? Why do you care?
Because I don't need to be walking down the street having an edible in my pocket and the police come mess with me and they feel I was an edible. Now I'm in jail for a couple of days and I got one of those tickets. I got to go pay for the ticket now and all. Ain't nobody doing all that, man. I had an edible in my pocket. That's all I had. I ain't paying no ticket for no edible. I ain't hit nobody. I ain't smoking no crack. It was an edible. Help you sleep way better.
Oh, so you think that marijuana is okay and really shouldn't be anything criminal about it because you like to eat an edible sometime. Yeah. That's why?
Now, in my lifetime, I haven't seen marijuana cause any criminal activity.
Well, it depends on what you mean by cause.
Well, have you seen marijuana in any criminal activity?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah, it depends on the person. Everybody can't handle chemicals in their body.
And marijuana has been curing things too.
It does. So does cocaine.
Some scientists say it was the cure to COVID. Some, not all.
So does cocaine. Cocaine has some redeeming qualities. But does that mean we should legalize cocaine? No.
I ain't never heard of redeeming quality in cocaine. Would it help you lose weight?
They used to put cocaine in Coca-Cola. Where do you think the name comes from?
I didn't think that was redeeming quality. I thought that was how they got their sales up.
Listen.
You hit that crack, you come right back. That's what they say.
Sir. Redeeming means beneficial to someone. Doesn't mean necessarily to you, but it's beneficial to somebody. Okay? Redeeming quality means beneficial or positive to somebody. And what I'm saying is you can just about take just about anything, not all, but just about anything and say, oh, well, it's got some benefits to it. That don't necessarily mean it needs to be legal. Tide Pods. Tide Pods are a wonderful invention. You just take the little plastic pod, throw it in the washing machine, washes your clothes, right? Do you know that if you put Tide Pods with certain materials, sometimes the plastic can melt and smear and ruin your clothes?
Mm-hmm.
So they should really stop making them. No, because sometimes it can ruin people's clothes.
But you don't have to buy it.
No, you don't. But you don't have to buy marijuana either.
You don't have to buy marijuana. That's what I'm saying.
So there you go.
But Tide Pods are still legal.
Yes, they are. But guess what's going to happen if they can't figure out how to solve that problem? Guess what's going to happen? They're going to stop manufacturing it.
I doubt it.
Oh, yes. Why is it that we don't have Tang anymore? Find out what happened to Tang. Get back to me.
I'll get back to you on Tang.
Find out to me about on Tang. And also, why is it that we don't use talcum powder anymore? Find out about that.
I don't know.
You know how many billions and dollars of sales companies that manufactured and sold talcum powder made in this nation alone? Forget the world. Just in America, it's not being done anymore. There's a reason. So don't tell me you got to legalize it. You don't have to. We don't even have to create it. We don't even have to manufacture it. It's not needed to live. You don't need nothing but water. You got to have water and air. And you got to have food for fuel for your body. You ain't got to have that. You ain't even got to have alcohol. But see, we tried that already. When we got rid of alcohol and criminalized alcohol, we see how long that lasted and how ridiculous that was.
Alcohol is actually bad for you.
It's also got redeeming qualities, though, because when you got a cold, a hot toddy, you can't beat it.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying.
cold product that you can sell on the market that can beat my hot toddy.
Nope. Not even that Theraflu. That Theraflu was close though. That Theraflu was close.
If you beat my hot toddy.
That Theraflu was close. I gotta give it that Theraflu.
It's close, but no cigar.
No cigar. No, it's close though.
My stuff will beat Theraflu. I know because it saved me. I had bronchitis and I didn't even know it. And it was my hot toddy, not no Theraflu, that brought me out of it. So I'm just saying, we can have this argument all day.
People got sleep disorders. They get some of that reefer. Shot dog.
I don't need reefer. I can take a drink and go to sleep.
You can, not everybody.
Not everybody can go to sleep from weed either.
They won't knock it till they try it.
I won't knock it till I try alcohol too.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm saying. I got an answer for everything you say. I got a counter. Everything you say. There's nothing you can say to me that you will win this argument with me. We do not have to have it.
It ain't about me. It's not a win-or-lose situation right here.
I know that, Dennis. I'm just saying it for the sake of the conversation.
What I'm saying is,
I mean,
don't nobody need to go to jail for no reason. We got killers out there in the world killing people. Those guys need to be in jail.
Yeah, but do you understand? There are people who smoke after they smoke weed. It has an adverse effect on their personality and actually causes them to behave in ways they ordinarily would not behave if they weren't smoking. You know how everybody is of the belief that when you smoke weed, it actually relaxes you. It makes you less violent. It calms you down. This is what people say. I'm not talking about you, Dennis. I'm saying this is what I hear and read when I am of the opinion that I hold. So I'm in these conversations a lot of times with people who are pro marijuana, right? Pro the decriminalization of it and all of that. Just legalize it. That's it. That's all they want to hear about. They don't want to hear about nothing else short of that. I'm like, okay, that's fine. There are people, when they smoke weed, it does not do well for them. They're not more relaxed. They're not calm. It doesn't help them go to sleep. They're actually paranoid, hyper, and more prone to violence and short-tempered. I know some personally. So this is what I'm saying. This is not something I'm making up. So I don't want to hear I never hear any stories about weed doing this to people. I don't care what people don't hear. I know what I see.
Okay. I also know you shouldn't be going to jail for no weed. Briefly.
If weed hypes you up to the point, makes you volatile, and you do something like breaking and entering, or you throw somebody through a plate glass window, then yeah, you're going to jail.
Yeah, you do something like that, yeah. You do a crime, you going to jail.
You driving under the influence of weed, and you driving because you high and you can't drive right, and you swerving,
you need to go to jail.
You're going to jail.
But if you got some reefer in your pocket and you walking down the street and the police just want to harass you, why? Is you black this regular day, and it's a weed in your pocket. Now you got a citation and all that? Hell no. Hell no.
Well, do you know if I'm walking down the street and I have an open bottle of bourbon and I'm walking down the street just holding the bourbon, I'm not even drinking it, haven't had a drink.
Right.
I can be given a ticket too, but I don't see nobody saying we need to decriminalize alcohol to the point where I should be able to walk down the street drinking an open cup of bourbon in my hand. Nobody's fighting for that, but everybody wants to fight for that edible in the pocket, but you don't want to fight for I don't understand that. Why?
Because they was putting too many people in jail for the edible in the pocket.
Really? Edibles just came out. Edibles ain't been around forever.
Edibles been around for a little while now. It's just
What's a little while, Dennis?
20 years.
Remember, I'm 55. What's a little while?
20 years from now. Some people say they was eating edibles before that. But for me, 20 years.
Listen, people who were eating edibles 20 years ago were baking edibles in their brownie mix in their auntie's kitchen. Edibles wasn't known across that you can go and get edibles out places like that. It was an underground thing. At the juke joints, you can get you some edibles. But the juke joints weren't legal either, Dennis. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Juke joints to you, speakeasies to me.
Speakeasies, we called them that too. But they were the juke joints in the 90s. It was, man, I lived in the juke joint. Don't tell me about no juke joint.
Craig, you know what the crazy thing is? I also been at the juke joint in the 90s. Because I had to walk my grandfather home. The 80s and the 90s. They had a whole separate section for me. Kids section at the speakeasy.
Nah, we didn't have that. There was never kids in any speakeasy juke joint that I went to. Y'all had something else going on in Philly.
For me. They had the TV, the channels I wanted to watch and everything.
Dang, boy.
And my grandpa got too drunk. I had to walk him home.
Y'all, that's a whole different thing in Philly.
It was only this one lady house. He go to the same lady house all the time. And as I got older, she told me the story. She was like, you used to walk your grandpa home all the time. Now I always heard the story. I had to walk him home because he was always drunk. And they always had me walk him home. But I ain't never know that she had a whole meal set up for me with TV and everything. I ain't know none of that. I had no idea. I'm sitting in a speakeasy at 5 years old waiting to walk my grandpa home.
Wow. I have never had to walk my drunk parents home or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, I had to. Yeah. Like, remember how you said you had them cousins? They ain't drink during the week, but on the weekend, they got towed up? Yeah.
Right.
That was my grandpa.
Yeah, I had some cousins like that. Sheila, I know you remember. I know you remember our cousins. During the week, they ain't drink. They go to work, everything. But the weekend, if we were at our grandmother's house, they would come through toe up.
Man, that was my grandpa. Friday, he got a check. He give 90% of the check to my grandma. Then he keep the rest in his pocket. Take me with him. We going to the speakeasy.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm just not. I don't really. It's not my life, I guess, but I don't really care about decriminalizing or criminalizing it. I just it's just not my thing. I'll let y'all fight that because I'm not. I got other things I'm worried about. I'm more worried about these female athletes getting beat by these transgender athletes that have been allowed to compete as women, and now they can't go to school because their scholarships are getting taken away. That's what I'm worried about. Y'all can worry about the marijuana, weed if y'all want to. Weed, reefer, loud. I don't care what you call it. Y'all can worry about that. I don't care about that. I care about these young girls being able to go to school.
I want to say something about that, but I'm leaving it alone.
We'll have it on a future show. We just got to figure out how we're gonna talk about it, how we're gonna construct it, because we want to be respectful to different demographics of people. We never want to be disrespectful. So maybe we should have a transgender on the show. We could.
I mean, that's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Your grandparents had a juke joint?
Say it again.
Your grandparents had a juke joint?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at least said you need to ship her some of it.
Some of my hot toddy.
Yeah.
I'll shoot you the recipe. Elise, you can make it. And I'm telling you, I swear by anybody that ever tells me they have a cold, when I send them the recipe, they always come back to me if they actually do what I tell them, because it works. Girl, it does work. I'm like, I'm telling you, I was this close to having pneumonia, Dennis. By the time I got to the doctor, they said if I had waited a couple more days, I would have had full-blown pneumonia. That's how bad my bronchitis was.
Since we talk about, I got a question. Now, do we have to get the liquor that you said, or can we get any liquor that we like drink?
I'm going to say it's been shown that dark liquor works better in these hot toddies. Now, if you just got to have gin or rum or vodka, that's on you. But I'm telling you what works.
Yeah, she said, thank you. She need that. Go ahead and get you a bottle of Douce, Elise.
I'm just saying that like the other liquor don't really work, but the dark liquor, it works in it. And I don't think you need to fool with that Hennessy.
No, I told her to get the Douce. She likes that Douce.
And see, I don't see, let me tell you, my hot toddy really doesn't have liquor in it. Mine is actually alcohol free. Now, if you add the alcohol to it, it makes it even that much more potent. But you don't really need the liquor in it.
They should start selling hot toddies at parties, just to make sure people don't get sick. That's all I say. That's the type of stuff
Hey, listen, I used to get one during flu season. I would pull up to the bar. The name of the club was called The Bar, right? And I used to have her make me a hot toddy sometime. That'd be the first drink I would get is a hot toddy. Then I'd get LITs the rest of the night.
LITs.
She don't like Henny. I don't either, Elise. I don't like Hennessy either. I really don't. Shout out to Hennessy, though. If you want to sponsor us, I'll gladly promote you all day long. It's just not my thing. It's not my thing. It's just not my thing. I'll wear the shirts and stuff, and he can drink the product, but I'm a Jack Daniels, Woodford Reserve, any type of bourbon, love it. Old Forester.
Let's bring it on home. We got some breaking news.
We got some more news.
Yeah, we got some breaking news about the Yale employee. That's the one that we have. The former Yale employee administrator stole $40 million, pretending to buy computer equipment for the university. Instead, she bought a fleet of luxury cars, 3 houses, and several, no, not 3 houses, several homes. I'm sorry.
When I sent you this story last night, I was just appalled. I mean, appalled. This chick, her name is Jamie Petrone. Petrone. Jamie, Jamie. You need to look her up. Go Google her pictures. Jamie Petrone, age 42. 42 now. It ain't like she was a 60-year-old or 50-year-old administrator. She's 42.
She got away with $40 million. She stole $40 million, pretending to buy a computer equipment for the university. Instead, she bought a fleet of luxury cars and several houses. She also was buying material, I want to say expensive clothing, a bunch of material things. Her boyfriend, as Sharon would say, he looked like he used to be a rapper. He had on a bunch of jewelry.
Yeah, a whole bunch of Gucci stuff, and I mean, just they flossing on social media. This is probably how she brought attention to herself, and why they started paying close attention to her. First of all, I just want to say this, Dennis. She's working at Yale, right?
Right.
And she was doing this for like 8 years, nearly a decade. She was
Before she got
working
caught.
there and stealing this money. She used the money to buy luxury cars, including a couple of Mercedes, a Land Rover, some Escalades, numerous homes, taking these lavish trips, all this stuff. And on top of that, she filed false tax returns. And now she faces up to 30 years in prison.
Oh.
Now with the tax return, she defrauded the government, the IRS, out of, let me see, I'm gonna tell you how much. She defrauded the IRS out of something like, was it $6 million? Yeah, $6 million. So that's $6 million of government money that the United States doesn't have to run the country, if you want to look at it the correct way. The losses she caused Yale University, one of the top universities in the nation, Ivy League, $40,504,200. One university, one person, one university. Now imagine if the rules were so loose that she was able to do this for nearly 10 years. Don't you think there's probably somebody else doing this too?
Yeah.
But this was one person, $40 million. See what I'm going with this, right? There's no telling how much other fraud is going on someplace. And when she was caught, they found $560,421.14 was in her accounts left over. So out of $40 million, she only still had in her accounts $560,000 of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she been spending.
And I never understand. How is it that you don't have a getaway plan?
I don't understand how you draw attention to yourself.
Oh, you're gonna draw attention.
No, you're not. Why are you flashing all on social media?
That's why you're gonna draw attention. It's because you never had it, so you don't know how to act.
I'm not gonna comment. I almost said something. I'm gonna be like Chris Rock. I could, and I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I don't want y'all thinking something about me. I'm not. So I'm not gonna do it. But I'm telling you, this scam right here bothers me.
We know that you would never do this.
Oh, I know, but this bothers me on so many levels.
Let's just say we met the criminal. Goodness. Let's just say we met the criminal, Sharon. All right. Let's just say, come on, let's talk to your inner criminal side. Shall we? Can we speak to your inner criminal side? Let's just speak to your inner criminal side. Yeah, your inner criminal side. I mean, every lawyer has an inner criminal side. I have an inner criminal side. The inner criminal side. Let's just can we speak to the inner criminal, Sharon? And then I just want to know now. We're not gonna say you went and took the whole 40 million. Let's just let's be reasonable. Let's just say you got away with 10 million. Okay. The inner criminal side is 10 million. 10 million. How is it that you get away with taking 10 million without flossing and getting caught?
Because of who I am and who I am. My parents didn't raise us to floss. We don't give a darn what people think about what we got or don't have. We've always been raised. Sheila, speak to that in the comments. We have always been raised to not care about keeping up with the Joneses or what the Joneses got to say about what we have or don't have. We let them run their mouth, but we run our business. And we didn't care. That's just how we were raised. This is who I am and who I am not. I don't care. I'm not flossing. Let me tell you, there was a time I made so much money, Dennis. I was making so much money. I did not know when payday was. And I mean this seriously. I would never know when payday is because my bills would come in. I would pay them. I had enough money to pay. I was living below my means. So I didn't care. Bills come in, I would pay the bills whenever and keep it moving. I never had to wait on, oh, when is payday? Never had to think about it. But guess what? Guess who didn't know? Nobody would know that if I didn't tell you. You know why? I wasn't walking around coochie down to the socks like Biggie would say. I wasn't walking around here with chinchillas on, looking like little Kim. I wasn't running around here with the latest weave and jewelry blinging, and I had the latest gadget. And I didn't do any of that stuff. I just enjoyed my life. My hair was always laid. Now the hair, my hair was always laid. But that's just how I was, broke or rich. My hair gonna be, I'm gonna take care of the hair. I didn't care about that. That wasn't an indicator. But I didn't care about flossing on whatever.
Now, to me,
that's how.
It's two types of criminals. I gotta speak to my inner criminal. Now my younger inner criminal. Oh, I was caught. I was caught early. Right? I was caught early. It could have been $300,000. I was caught early. My younger inner criminal. The older inner criminal me now, yeah, I've been and had a bunch of businesses set up, but they all be in somebody else's name, like to the point where as though if something do happen to me, I'll get out. And I still got all these businesses to run. Because it don't look like she thought about a business at all. Like she just kept buying cars, kept doing this, kept doing that.
Well, Dennis, should we talk about why you think she felt like that? Or do we want to leave it alone?
No, you know what? Let's talk about it.
Privilege.
Yeah.
She's a white female. That's why they didn't have any checks and balances on her butt. According to the policy at Yale, in her role as the director of finance for the emergency medical department of Yale, okay, that's her title. So she made six figures at least.
Mm.
In her role, she did not have to justify any expenditures under $10,000. So this is what she used to do. According to this article, what she used to do is she would, to explain the purchases to the university officials, she would claim that the equipment was needed for certain medical studies being performed at the school. All right. And then what she would do is she would make these purchases in smaller increments as long as the orders were below $10,000. So she would make numerous small orders of tablet computers and other equipment and bill it to the school. Then she would take that equipment when it would come in, she would sell those computers or equipment to businesses in New York State and then have them send the money, the people that buy the equipment from her, they would send the money to the account of a wedding photography and videography company she controlled.
Wow.
So alone, in 2021 alone, now remember, she's been doing this since 2013. In 2021 alone, she purchased more than 8,000 tablet computers, all in orders smaller than 10,000 at a time. And in one 10-week period that year, she ordered $2.1 million worth of equipment. Sold it, because remember, these were bogus research projects. Stuff she made up. So every time she was to report to equipment, every time she would order this equipment, she'd have to sell it. So she'd sell it, and then they pay the videography company.
Right. So she did have one business. She just didn't have enough of it. That's what it was.
The whole reason why that business was created was to funnel money. She laundered money, is what she did. That's right, money laundering.
That's what you're supposed to do. Right?
Yes, that's what you're supposed to do. But let me tell you what they say about her charges. Let me tell you what they say about her charges, though.
Like I said, we was talking to the inner criminal. So you do the crime, you do the time. Then the criminal.
Yeah. Okay, well, listen to this. She's free on $1 million bond right now. Okay. Of course she's free. You ain't gonna have that. You ain't gonna have Trixie in jail. You're just not gonna have that. They're not gonna have that. Right? Trixie. Then let me see. Hold on. Let me get the I gotta give you the charges.
40 million. If I got away with 4 million, I might have been greedy, went back for 4 more. I ain't gonna lie. I might have been. Let me go back for 4 more.
As part of her guilty plea, Patron agreed to forfeit $560,421.14 that was seized from her accounts, 135,000 Mercedes Benzes, a $90,000 Range Rover, 2 Cadillac Escalades, and a Dodge Charger. She's also agreed to turn over 3 properties she owns in Connecticut and another in Georgia. Okay, so she's getting charged with filing false tax returns and something else. There's some other charge, but she's not getting charged with money laundering. You know that comes with an additional 10 years on top of it. If you get convicted of money laundering, that's 10 years. So instead of 30 years, she should be facing 40.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna point that out to you. I'm hot about this right here. Do you know how many students could go to Yale, who don't have access, whose parents can't afford to send them to school? They're not quite A students, so they can't get scholarships to go free. Loans are not even viable because you got to pay that back, and they don't have the ability to. Do you know how many people they can send to school to go to Yale for $40 million? I'm just sick about it. This is the type of crap, I'm telling you, Dennis, this type of crap is going on all over the nation at these universities. I know it is.
I know it is too.
I know it is. More people could have access to education than we do in this country. This is the United freaking States. Come on. I'm hot. This thing right here really has me. I am really pissed off about it. Now, me getting pissed is not going to do anything for nobody. It ain't going to change nothing. I understand that. But I'm telling you, when I read this last night, I was actually angry.
Now you see that, Sharon? I go to jail for 24 hours for my little bit of reefer. I don't think she spent the night, stole 40 million. Now where's the crime at?
Because they had to get that $1 million bond. Somebody had to come up with that. All her accounts were frozen. So dude in the pictures, he had to go get $1 million from somewhere.
Yeah. They had it. I believe she got at least 10 million somewhere, digged out somewhere.
You gotta keep some cash somewhere hidden in a bucket in the back of a garage somewhere.
Somewhere. I believe she got some money somewhere, but
I'm sure she does.
My little reefer ain't hurt nobody.
But like my sister says, how many people stole much less yet spent 30 years in jail? The guy got this old man down somewhere in somebody's jail down south, stole a backpack, and he was in prison over 30 years, like 40 years. Terrible. He's like 70-something years old now. He was like 13 when he went to jail.
Terrible.
It was crazy. He shoplifted a pack of gum. You go to jail 50 years. That was common for us. Make me sick. This right here, man. How was she allowed? Now they put in the article, oh, now Yale is going to be changing their processes after they discovered this. You think?
Because if y'all wasn't, I was going to fill out an application,
Thank you.
You wasn't going to change it. But I mean, it's still some people out there doing it. But now that girl got caught, they calming down now.
I'm just sick. Anyway, I know we got to wrap up, but that right there, that is sickening. I'm just as angry about that as I am about anything else going on right now. Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up, I'm gonna let you give your final words. I'll let you give your final words, and I give mine. We'll wrap it up.
Okay. Well, first of all, just want to say to my co-host Dennis, the Ignorant Thinker Podcast Holmes, I still so enjoy doing this show with you every Saturday. Every Saturday morning, I look forward to it. And here on the side, Jawn, and I'm just glad to share the airways with you on this show. I thank you to all the people in the comments who show up for us every Saturday. Some of the new people coming in here. I see new people every week. That's awesome. That bears credit to you and your promotional skills, Dennis, because you do more of the promoting than I do. I do the physical stuff, but you do more of the promoting stuff. So my flyers are getting out there to everybody. Thanks to you, and I appreciate that. Just want to say, hey, Dennis and I are both business owners too, you guys. Ignorant Thinkers Podcast is not a hobby for him. It's something that he dreamed about and he started, and I'm glad to be a part of it and work with him on it. And then I'm the chocolate writer. That's the name of one of my businesses. So that is a real business. I have a website. It's thechocolatewriter.com. And I will be taking, new customers. I'm taking new clients on now for my communications and PR services. So just want to mention that if you have a small business or know of anybody who has one who needs my help doing social media management, public relations, web copy or web design or flyer creation or anything like that, press releases, blogs or newsletters or anything, just fill out a contact form on my website. Just want to say that. And with Ignorant Thinkers Podcast, follow Ignorant Thinkers Podcast on all platforms where you get your podcasts, because he has the audio version of this show and all of the shows under the umbrella, wherever you find them. And also my podcast, Did You Hear What Chocolate Said, is wherever you get your podcast as well. I just recently posted my 1-year anniversary of Did You Hear What Chocolate Said on March the 1st. So I got to get a new one up, and I will be soon. But check out Did You Hear What Chocolate Said? I have some interesting things on there. I talk about more than just sports. So give it a listen and make sure to like and follow and share. My final words, my final thoughts are: find people in your life that you can look up to. People who are doing positive things in the community, not negative. It's really easy for you to look over and you can see, depending upon your circumstance, you can see all kinds of people in your neighborhood doing things, and watch them and see, are they happy with their lives? If they're not, you might want to follow somebody who's actually happy, that's doing positive things in the world. Get you an educator to follow. Get you a personality that's doing positive things, even outside of your community. If you only see them on TV, follow them. Just pick somebody to get inspiration from that's doing positive things. If you believe in God and you are a Christian, read the Bible. Let that be a form of inspiration for you. If you're a Muslim, read the Quran. Let that be a point of inspiration for you. Be inspired and be intentional about being inspired. Don't allow yourself to become dead inside. So whatever your belief system is, hang on to that. Hold on to that. Be intentionally inspired. That's the motto for 2022. Be intentionally inspired. That's going to cause you to aspire for greatness. And nothing can hold us back. We just did a show, nothing's gonna hold us back, because we walking with swag like Diddy in 2022. Ain't nobody's gonna hold us back, right, Dennis? Nobody
That's
gonna
right.
hold us back. We gonna do the darn thing. So that's my final thoughts, you guys. Just be intentionally inspired. Find something that inspires you and hold on to that and let that guide you to do great things.
Yeah, I want to say, you know, I want to get, you know, let's give congratulations out there to the people out there that, you know, waking up every day, trying to live their lives and do better. You know, I heard one of my favorite comedians, you know, he said the joke. He said it's hard being black because you wake up every day down 20. You know, I was laughing at it, but I was like, man, he ain't lying, man. It's always an obstacle or something. It's always something in the way. But you know, every morning you wake up, you try to be better and better and better. And you know, you're trying to get to your goal and reach your goals, and you know, be more healthier, and you're trying to accomplish better things. So to all y'all out there that are doing what y'all want to do and, you know, trying to accomplish those things, I appreciate y'all. Keep being better, keep striving for better, you know, and you know, keep giving out advice to somebody else. You never know, you know, what your words may say to help somebody else down the way on how you did what you did. How could that help somebody do what they need to do? That's why I'm always, you know, a lot of people ask me about podcasts, and I'm always willing to help because, you know, at the same time, you never know who you may be helping. Never know what they're going through in their lives and how certain words can help them get by. So I'll always just be willing to help, willing to give out a helping hand, willing to talk to people. Not one of those Hollywood guys. That's not me. I could never be like that. So I also got goals and things that I want to accomplish coming up. So eventually me and Sharon gonna be live and on tour. That's one of the goals that I got going on. We're gonna be live.
Wait a minute, and don't forget, standing on stage, giving a check to somebody. Remember that dream I had? Somebody
getting that check.
We're gonna be able to bless somebody with a big donation to help out their cause. Yep.
Right. Yeah, but other than that, this has been a great show. We'll see y'all next week. Same time, same place. God bless. Great day.